Welcome to the The Observer podcast, the podcast of the Observer news staff. On The Observer, we'll be interviewing the newsmakers and fascinating personalities at Elgin Community College, or sometimes we'll be talking about news or cultural topics among ourselves to inform and entertain you. My name is Vansh.
I'm Eric.
I'm Matt.
And welcome to today's episode, sponsored by Columbia College of Missouri in Elgin. Begin a new chapter of Columbia College of Missouri in Elgin, offering flexible, affordable degrees for real lives and real responsibilities. Located locally on the ECC campus, you can take classes in person or online, all at your own pace. Apply today at elgin.ccis.edu. Columbia College, building new paths to success. Now back to the podcast episode. Today we're going to be talking about our review of Spartan Terrace.
Okay, so when I first walked into the restaurant, right, the atmosphere I actually really enjoyed. It felt really welcoming, right? But I look around, and I see everybody wearing suits. All right, I mean, I think it's a great welcoming place. I just felt a little underdressed, you could say, for the occasion. All right.
Yeah, it does look like there was a dress code, but they were pretty forgiving of that. At least for students, they made it sound like it was
feels
pretty
too
forgiving.
professional.
Yeah,
that's what I'm trying to get at.
Yeah.
Too professional.
The setting was fire though. Like I gave that a solid 4 out of 5.
It felt really welcoming. Like,
Yeah.
it's like cozy, you know? Like, you know how you have like a fireplace right there in your living room? You just go sit down.
Nah,
You see that brightness of the orange light.
nah, I feel that vibe.
I mean, what I have to say so far is when you first enter into the restaurant, it does seem intimidating to the average student at first. Obviously, everyone is, overdressed basically. Everyone either has a suit or they're dressed semi-formal, and we walk in there with a hoodie and sweatpants on, and Matthew with shorts.
Yeah, okay.
But I mean, there was no mention of any dress codes, so it was perfectly fine. But it's worth mentioning that when we did get sat down and everything, when we got our own table, whatever, it was worth mentioning that we did talk to them, and they have acknowledged this problem, and they're trying to encourage students to come into the restaurant more, because this restaurant was meant for students. It wasn't meant for everybody else, obviously. It's meant to support their culinary students, and I think that the atmosphere, even though it is intimidating, they're working really hard to involve all students.
Yeah, there was one complaint. I guess this counts as the atmosphere that I had, just regarding the menus. The menus were very bulky and took up basically the whole table, bro. Like at least on my side of the table. Even though it's a really stupid critique, and it really was annoying when I actually they had to set down my food because they had no room.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Especially whenever, because we had bread and butter, right? And when we asked for the butter, I would be hitting the menu all the time, and it would be just clashing into.
Yeah, that is the biggest problem I had with
What about the
atmosphere.
table size? I felt like that was a little too small. I mean,
That was
I
a
like
little
it, but it
small.
was a little too small.
For 4 people, even though there are new tables, because they said they had new tables, little bit on the smaller side. The plate takes up majority of the room, and then with that menu, which is why they took out the menu, obviously, after your first order. But if we kept one on the table, which we did,
It gets in the way a lot.
it got in the
Yeah.
way a
Special
lot.
decorations they have on the table, like that plant in the middle. It
I,
just
I
gets.
feel like the menu just made the table seem small.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
for
Because
sure.
if you really think about it, when the menu was gone, it was a good amount of room. It wasn't I'm not judging the table. I'm judging the menu as in how big it is. You know what I mean? So when it comes to the service of the Spartan Terrace, I'd say it was really good. So our server was Nettie. We don't know her last name, but she was a great waitress. She was pretty knowledgeable and fairly honest when it came to the menu. She was also accepting of any changes that should be made to the restaurant in general. But for her first time working on the job, she did really well, especially in a setting like that.
Seemed like really professional. She knew what was going on as well, right?
Yeah. And she made sure to check on us every once in a while. She didn't just wait too long to get back to our table and didn't come all the time. It was really good.
It's like they had
service in
secret
general.
mics under the table, you know?
Yeah, actually. At one point, right as we would finish sentences, she would come over and be like, "How are you guys doing?"
She would essentially finish our sentences. We'd be talking about something, she would come over and actually mention it.
Yeah.
And by the
Great
way,
service.
we weren't talking too loud. We were talking, not even hushed. We were just talking normal voices, but still.
Yeah. So service was pretty dang good, honestly. They had supervisors on staff as well that would occasionally check on the table. While the restaurant wasn't exactly crowded, they were still really good about serving tables on time and everything. But overall, the service was really good. I don't have any complaints really.
I mean, one thing to note, and one big thing to note is, let me just say something. You know, as a starter, you know, when you enter restaurants like Olive Garden, they have their breadsticks and salad or whatever, right? They had bread. We ran out of bread, and they gave us extra bread. We ran out of bread again. They gave us extra bread.
bread.
Like they actually they didn't hold back on it. And by
Sure.
the way, they didn't charge for it.
Yeah, that I
Also
thought
true,
was
it's
pretty.
great.
Like, if you really want to cheese it, you can go in there just for the bread and leave. But I doubt anyone's really that desperate. You know what I mean?
What you guys think of the bread though?
Well, we can get that in the food, but as a preview to that, very good, honestly.
I think the bread
Especially
is
for
very
just
good.
a student-run restaurant, I think that was pretty good.
Which I don't know if we mentioned. This is completely ran by the culinary department, which is a lot of people know, but just so if you didn't know, the culinary department runs the restaurant, so service, everything isn't outsourced, everything's made by students. Especially the food, they're made by all the people who are trying to train to, you know, be adaptive in a real world environment, which is why they want to invite students on to the restaurant because students can be more critical or they can actually give more advice rather than a staff member or faculty member.
Yeah, and something that should probably be noted, as of right now, the recording date is 9/12. They have a $5 student discount for anyone that wants to attend, which I would incorporate as a part of a service review.
And that's for the whole semester.
Yeah, it's for the whole semester.
Whole semester.
Yeah, they said semester,
Oh.
but it might be for a year.
That's a great deal because when finishing our food, I think in total all of us had to pay because we split it 3 ways,
$11.
$11
And like
Total.
33 cents or
for
something.
appetizer, the dinner, and dessert, which is amazing. I mean, how can you top that price? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
In comparison to what you get at the cafeteria, I mean, why even go to the cafeteria?
You can listen to our cafeteria episode, but the food over there for $33, even though you might get teeny tiny bit more, it's very expensive.
Yeah.
So moving on from, I guess, service and all the other aspects, let's go to the important details. Food. They, like we said before, they started off with bread and butter. Now, what was so special about that butter, Matthew?
It was compound butter. So it wasn't just regular old butter, it had other things in it.
Let me be serious here. Matthew was so excited that it was compound butter, like super excited. He kept going on and on about how hard it is to make and everything. The entire meal, we didn't even have butter on our plates, and still he was like, "You guys know how compound butter is really made? Do you know how hard it is?"
This is really good.
Yeah, well, hold on. I gotta explain this. It's not necessarily difficult to make compound butter, but what's so special about it is a restaurant takes the time to make it in general because they're expending resources that they can use in another dish to make it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Whether it's what did we have
So
in
you're
our butter?
appreciating the hard work.
Yeah.
Right,
What do we
okay,
have in
yeah.
our butter, guys?
So we had strawberry butter, regular butter with chives. Chives.
Yeah. So we had strawberry jalapeno butter, and then chive regular. It's a classic butter, but with chives in it, which it's still just butter, but the fact that they actually take the time to make the compound butter and freeze it as you're supposed to is really impressive to me. Even for as in this is regarding a student-run restaurant, a regular old restaurant, I'm not surprised, but these are students and this is their first time. That's pretty cool. You know what I mean? They took the time to do that. You could have just given us regular old butter with salt on it. I don't know.
There was a diversity of bread. We're gonna move back to the bread here.
Yeah.
White bread, whole grain. I'm pretty sure it was whole grain, right? Whole grain and all others. But I think that one crucial aspect, moving on from bread and butter, obviously, is the appetizers. Now, 2 out of the 3 of us ordered an appetizer. But we'll start off with their soup of the day during the time, which was
Broccoli cheddar. So their broccoli cheddar soup was served in a, I guess, ceramic bowl. And when it comes to the aspects of the soup, I don't want to sound like a actual critic, so I'm just going to tell you the way it was. It was a really good soup. It was a good temperature. It wasn't runny like how I hate soups when they're runny. It went really well with the bread and butter, especially the chive butter. and the spoon the spoon that it came with was also a soup spoon. I know it's so weird to critique that, but like this is literally just a student-run restaurant. I think that's pretty cool. So the temperature was good, the flavor was good. The only thing that I could possibly say was a downside was that it wasn't really like a full cup. It was like half of the cup that it was served in. So like proportionally, it sounds weird. Like it looked weird rather. But the price of it was $3. Like that's amazing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know. I have never bought soup from the cafeteria, but I think did that beat that price?
It's actually a bit more expensive than the soup in the cafeteria. But proportions wise, you actually get more at the terrace and way better soup. To be honest with you, the one you get in cafeteria has probably been cooking there forever, whereas I'm assuming the one in their kitchen was
It's
made
fresh
that
in-
morning.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I guess moving on from soup, I had something called like kung pao broccoli peanuts something.
It was like the kung pao
yeah.
cauliflower thing. I don't really know how to say it.
Kung pao cauliflower, and that's all we could remember from it because it's such an exotic name. Now I'm just gonna mention something. Amazing flavor, 10 out of 10. Good flavor combos. I rarely eat cauliflower, but man, I finished the entire thing. The only thing I had about it was that it wasn't as what it was supposed to be. So it was like I didn't know if it was supposed to be sweet or spicy or sour, or that mix kind of made it foreign to me.
Yeah, kung pao is usually, if I remember correctly. I mean, I would look this up while I say this, but I'm pretty sure kung pao is supposed to be spicy, and you said it was like Swedish, which was a little strange. But I don't know. I'm not a pro, as I've been saying this whole podcast. I'm really just telling you the food how it is. You know what I mean?
Oh, so apparently it's the opposite.
It is.
It's supposed to be sweet and sour.
How was it then?
It was sweet.
Okay, so then
But
it
it-
covered
it's
it.
the name?
bro.
Or the, yeah.
It covered it. Yeah.
Yeah.
See, I was
think,
wrong.
I think it lived up to Kung Pao then. I just think that proportions wise, there should have
So
been
you're
more
just hating the hate man. huh?
vegetables.
Yeah, I was wrong.
There should have been more content in there, but for the price, it was really good.
Yeah,
I'll take it.
$5, right?
Yep.
So if we're gonna talk about the prices right now, by this time when we're having our appetizers, Eric spent $0.
Oh.
No, but he had bread and butter. No, he still
That's
got the
all
bread
I
and butter.
needed. That's all you
Yeah,
needed.
no,
is
no,
the bread
no.
and
I
butter.
get that. I get that.
that's
You know,
what I'm saying.
I spent $3 and Vonner spent $5 by this time. So now, do you guys want to get in the entrees?
What about the,
or-
hold on. What about the Coke?
Oh, I'm sorry. The Coke I ordered.
Yeah.
Okay, the Coke. So $5 for me, $5 for Von, 0 for Eric right now. Okay. My
So
bad.
Yeah, gotta include the price.
moving on from the appetizers, I think there's this bigger importance. I said food was important. Nah, man, entrees are important. So Eric, what'd you order?
No. I'm kidding. I'm sorry.
I mean, the waitress said it was one of the best things.
Yeah, no, the
there.
eggplant parmesan was actually pretty good. I like the way it was actually made. It wasn't too hot or too cold. Actually, you know what? The eggplant, like the inside, was actually a little cold, but I didn't mind it because I downed it with asparagus. The asparagus is really good as well. It was. I actually like how they seasoned it really well, and it wasn't just plain like how it usually is.
So Matt, what'd you order?
I ordered the pad thai.
Classic.
Yeah, really. It had a really good flavor profile, and pad thai is not supposed to be necessarily spicy, so I didn't know what version of pad thai it was, but they had peanut sauce on it, and the proportion was really good. I'm sure that you will, if you're watching this, you could always look at our Instagram and see photos of our food, by the way. But the presentation was pretty nice. It wasn't just noodles and peanut sauce. There were vegetables like peppers, peas, all that mixed in. It wasn't just and there was shrimp too. Sorry, it was shrimp pad thai. I forgot to mention that. So it wasn't just plain noodles. It was a really good portion. And if I remember, guys, wasn't it like just how much was the entree?
$12.
$12. And if I just went there, ordered on my own, and also used my $5 discount, way better deal than going to the cafeteria.
Way better.
Way better deal. Because it's way bigger too. Like
And it actually fills you up. You know, It's
Yeah.
not like a light snack as it is when you order from the cafeteria.
yeah.
Now, I ordered something a little out of my comfort zone. So what I ordered, I mean, moving on from pad thai and eggplant parmesan, I ordered chicken schnitzel salad, which basically means It's salad with seared tomatoes, artichokes, kalamata olives, green apple vinaigrette, and of course chicken. Now, portion size. By the way, I've never had artichokes. That was my first time having artichokes. Did not like it. The artichokes, at least. Portion size was amazing. The chicken there was a huge slab of chicken. So for quantity and for price, I deemed that really good. Now, one little consideration. I don't really like lemon chicken. Let's just get that out of the way. Any basic lemon chicken I don't like, and that's just because I like my stuff spicy. So the food for me was a little exotic and foreign because compared to what I have at home and then what I had there was a little out of the ordinary. It was out of my comfort zone, obviously. But I would rate that. I would rate it a solid 3 out of 5. And the flavors they did match, but they were weird for me. I didn't really like that combo. Now, Eric, what would you rate your eggplant parmesan?
I definitely 8 out of 10. Like I said, some of the eggplant was a little bit cold, but I didn't really mind it.
So in proportion, like a 4 out of 5, then, right?
Pretty much.
Okay. For me, pad thai was like 4.5 out of 5. Only thing I took off from it, which unfortunately I think I forgot to mention, was the overall heat of the dish was good until you get to like the bottom, which is a little odd. I'll be honest. You'd think like the heat would all be at the bottom because it just came out, but it was like it would slowly get cold. If like when I dug into it anyway, it was cold at the bottom. I didn't just take from the top the whole time.
Yeah. So what would be your rating? I don't know if you said it or not, but just
4.5
reiterate
out of
it.
5.
4.5 out of 5.
Yeah.
So in terms of entrees, we're all over the place in terms of our ratings, but desserts. We already talked about appetizers. So dessert. There's 3 options. Nothing was listed on the menu, so it was kind of like a dessert platter or dessert tray, sorry, that you can choose 1 or 2 from. Now, we chose key lime pie, and let me tell you something. On our Instagram, you'll see our full video of the presentation, but my goodness, that was amazing.
Best thing there, honestly. It's like the presentation was a thing of its own, and I did not expect that from coming from a student-run restaurant. I know I keep saying this, but seriously, it's just so cool to me. It's their first day. They had a good presentation. The flavor was awesome. And for those that don't know, this is key lime pie tart. It's like a tart. So what they do is they toast the meringue right in front of you, the meringue that's on top of the tart, and then they dish it out to you with, and I think it had raspberries, raspberry cream,
Yep.
whipped cream, and then of course key lime pie and meringue there. It was awesome. What do you guys think before I get into my review of it?
I think that the presentation aspect of it, I'm moving on from the food. It was amazing, but presentation wise, they brought out the pie, okay, all freshly made or whatever. And what they did in front of us was they grabbed a blowtorch and they seared the top. Well,
Yeah.
not seared, but I guess.
No, right.
you know,
That was pretty cool.
They toasted the top.
they toasted. Yeah, thank you. They toasted the top, and as soon as it sat on your plate, you could just feel that warmth. And then when you bite into it, that smoky flavor.
Yeah,
Oh,
there was
yeah,
a
yeah,
smoky
that was-
flavor. That was so weird
Yeah,
to
that
me,
was
by the
pretty
way.
cool.
I know it's like expected, but it was smoky, sour, and sweet.
And that was just the best
Interesting.
combination ever.
Yeah, and it sounds so weird, but my favorite part was actually the meringue, which makes no sense. It was just like the way it was toasted just added such a flavor to it, you know. But overall, 5 out of 5, bro. I have no complaints.
I agree. I didn't have that much. I'm not gonna lie, cause I ate like half of it, then I gave it all to Matthew because he's been wanting it.
Yeah, bro, that was good. I don't know. What was your rating of it, Eric?
I'd say like I'll say 5 out of 5. I didn't have any complaints. I was still
5
eating
out
it.
of 5 over here as well. No complaints on that dessert. Amazing
part.
job. Now, I think when we had our overall ratings of the entire experience, we had 2 4 out of 5s and another 4 out of 5. So I think average it out, we rated a solid yes to go there.
Yeah, like probably if we were gonna like put it as a percentile, probably like almost 90%.
For sure. That if this was a grade, they get an A.
Yeah, that was pretty good, and I highly recommend anyone, at the very least during the semester, goes back there once because that discount really cuts down the price. And if you really think about it, what you'll spend at the cafeteria in comparison, like there's actually no comparison based on price and quantity. and flavor. You know
No,
what I mean?
no.
It doesn't really make sense to go to the cafeteria when you have this.
No, there's one thing to mention. You can't go to this place every day. It's only open certain hours and whatever. You do need a reservation, but with that $5 student discount, bring your ID in, just show them that you're a student, and you get that $5 discount. No questions asked. But like I said, reservations are needed. So if you are ready to go through with that reservation process, feel free to do that. Fill it out. Go to your set time and sit down. But I think that sooner or later, that reservation's kind of what's keeping students out. I don't think it's atmosphere because people can get over the suits and ties. But the reservation, it's even though Spartan Terrace is, from our opinion, a solid A, that reservation might prevent students from entering in.
Yeah, I agree because its hours are very restrictive. You got to find a time and, well, really a day to go there with their availability in mind.
Okay, and I mean, do we have any other final comments for Spartan Terrace, or are we ready to wrap this review up?
I just want to say that if the servers and the chef is listening, you guys did a great job, and thanks for the food.
Well, in that case, I guess that's a wrap on the Spartan Terrace review. Thank you guys so much for listening, and a big shout out to our sponsor, Columbia College of Missouri. Just remember, you can begin a new chapter at Columbia College of Missouri in Elgin, where they offer flexible and affordable degrees for real lives and real responsibilities. Located locally on the ECC campus, you can take classes in person or online, all at your own pace. Apply today at elgin.ccis.edu. Columbia College, building new paths to success. Thanks, guys, for chiming in, actually attending the restaurant as well. And a big thank you to our audio editor, Indy Wilson. And to learn more about The Observer and to see our work, visit elginobserver.com and follow us on Instagram at Observer Newspaper and TikTok at Elgin Observer. Until next time, I'm Vanch.
I'm Eric.
I'm Matt.
And we'll see you next time.